Welcome to Sevillistas WorldWide Nervión News, your weekly Sevilla FC news roundup. Sevilla FC lost to Girona at home on Sunday, September 1st by a score of 0-2. Ivan Martin and Albo Ruiz scored for Girona in the 41st and 73rd minute. Garcia Pimienta made 5 changes to the lineup that drew against Mallorca. Isaac Romero started as the lone striker. Ujuke and Luca Bacchio started on the wings. Juanlu Sanchez was back as the attacking midfielder. The other midfielders consisted of Agume and Sambi Lukanga. The defensive four was Jose Angel Carmona, making his 4th straight start at right back. Loic Bade Marcao makes his first start of the season and was, interestingly enough, handed the captain's armband. And new boy Valentin Barco makes his first start after just landing on loan from Brighton. Nealon again was starting in goal. Sevilla started pretty well and had some opportunities to score, but Girona found the back of the net first. A low-driven, bouncing cross finds Martin at the back post, beating both Barco and Nealon. Ujuke appeared to score a beauty in the 43rd minute, but was slightly offside just before he went into the box. Luca Bacchio had a great run and strike that was saved by Paulo Gonzaniga in the 44th minute. Halftime showed Sevilla trailing 0-1. Pique and Navas came on for Luca Bacchio and Juanlu in the 65th minute. Girona was granted the penalty kick in the 68th minute when Iglesias Villanueva in the VAR booth intervened and said a strike hit the hand of Isaac Romero. After several minutes of deliberation and inconclusive angles, Sanchez Martinez, the ref, was talked into agreeing with the VAR booth. Abiel Ruiz scored to make it 0-2. Agume and Carmona was subbed off in the 82nd minute for Dibrielso and Edumbo. Ujuke and Barco did everything they could to get Sevilla on the board, but nothing was happening today, and Sevilla fell again to secure their first victory. Sevilla finished with 16 shots, 5 on target, 49% possession. Sevilla are next to last in the La Liga table with 2 points and find themselves in the relegation battle already. This is Garcia Pimienta's 18th straight game without recording a victory. One more and he ties the all-time record. Here is Eddie and Steve to talk about the game.
Matchday 4, Sevilla 0, Girona 2. And there's no understatement. Pimienta has a lot of work to do. I believe it's an international break now. So he has a little bit more time to look at his players and what he has on his squad. And he needs to make some serious decisions on how to carry this forward. I mean, we won't have Saul for that first game after the break. Because I do believe he's one of the more important players on his team. But he has to come up with something that's going to work, because that team out there, it does not function. That midfield is not really contributing much, and that's solely because there's nothing working in attack. There's no cohesiveness there. I don't know. The obsession with putting Juanlu as a second striker, he's not effective when we have the ball. That's not his role. You could clearly see that's not his role. I like that Luque Bacchio and Ujuke are starting on the wings, probably because that's all we got right now. And also the Luque Bacchio not playing the full 90, because he's probably not at that level yet. He probably has to warm up to playing a full 90 minutes physically. So I like that Pimienta's kind of bringing him on, bringing him along slowly. Sorry. It's always nice seeing Marcao in defense. Sometimes I think he takes a little too many risks sometimes with going to ground, because that can be costly. It was costly in one of the previous games. Barco looks interesting. He's really good on the ball, and I feel like he could be an extra playmaker and on the field there. Defensively, we'll see what it is. I guess it just depends on the structure and how we set up and trying to cover those weaknesses. But we need to. I mean, we have Isaac that needs a partner. That's the definitive thing. if there's anything good that's going to come out of this team is partnering Isak with someone, because that was one of our only good bright spots at the second half of last season with him and in the city. So you have to utilize that and come up with something. So Pimienta has to make this, like, he has to act now on that. Like, there's no experimenting here. You have to get a win. That's 4 games without a win, and a team like Sevilla, I mean, sure, it's not the same Sevilla from 2-3 seasons ago, but we need a win, and we need a win now.
This one stings. We definitely deserve better than this as a fan base. And it's just becoming more and more frustrating to watch this team. Luckily, we've got an international break coming up, and maybe we can regroup and hit the ground running when we get back. One thing I will say is that this game was probably the first one this season that I really got a sense for the style of football that our manager wants to play. It's definitely a new style of football. We haven't seen this style, this kind of creative attacking style in years at Sevilla. Things did not fall our way, especially early in the game. I'd say probably for the first 60 minutes, we were the better team. We got caught on a really opportunistic cross into the box that one of our new signings, I believe it was Barco, he just kind of whiffed on a defensive assignment and had found the second or third person in line right in front of goal. Nothing Nyland could do about that. And then Isak got a handball that we can debate it left and right, but I don't really want to. At the end of the day, we didn't play well enough to win, and we didn't score any goals. So, I mean, the penalty doesn't really matter because we would have lost that game anyway. There's a lot of there's just a lot to unpack from this game and from the first 4 games of the season. We've got 2 points in the standings through 4 games. It's not enough to get the job done at our level. We're at the level that we want to be at. Let's see what happens. Let's see what comes next.
In other news, Sevilla wrapped up their transfer window this week. John Jordan was loaned to Alaves for the season, and Lucas Ocampos was sold to Monterrey in Mexico for 7.25 million euros after the La Liga window had closed. Ocampos leaves Sevilla with 200 matches played, 44 goals, 22 assists, and 15,608 minutes of action. He won 2 Europa League trophies with Sevilla. In other news, Loic Bade renewed his contract with the team until 2029. After several teams came sniffing at the Olympian during the transfer window, Bade decided to stay, and the team rewarded him with a new contract and a new release clause set at 50 million euros. In more depressing news, Rafa Mir, on loan at Valencia, was arrested by Spanish authorities for alleged sexual assault. Sevilla's first team will be back in action, taking on Getafe at home after the international break. In the international break, Sevilla has 8 players called up to action, including Neelan for Norway, Luca Bacchio for Belgium, Barco and Montiel for Argentina, Ian Nacho for Nigeria, Wanlu for Spain's U21, Agume along with Bade will play for France's U21, Stanis Adumbo will be on Belgium's U21, and then Sevilla Atletico players Robert Jalade will be with Romania's U21, and new signing Leonardo Antonetti will be joining Puerto Rico's first team. Youth team member Nico Gillian will be on Spain's U17 squad. Sevilla Atletico won their first point of the season, drawing away at Algeciras. Mateo Mejia, playing on the right-hand side, intercepted a pass in stride, dribbled into the box. The ball deflected on the cross to awaiting Israel Dominguez Velasco, a.k.a. Isra, who slotted it home. The home side tied it up off a poorly defended corner in the 79th minute. Sevilla won a dubious penalty late, but the keeper saved it. The ball never lies, they say. Sevilla Atletico play again on Sunday, September 8th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time at home against Atletico San Lequeño. Sevilla's women's team kicks off their season on Saturday, September 7th at 2:30 p.m. against Real Sociedad. Thanks for listening to the Nervión News from the Sevillistas WorldWide podcast. This has been Chris Lell. Until next time, vamos mi Sevilla.